Hello, and welcome to Awakening with Adam. I'm your host, Adam, and today the phrase we'll be talking about is garbage in, garbage out. Now, if you're an engineer or programmer, you'll recognize this terminology. Essentially, it means if you're building a program and a system, the data you get in, if it's not properly filtered, will become increasingly difficult to process to get to the end goal of your output. Now, how does this help our lives in any way? What are you talking about, Adam? You nerd. Essentially, and this applies to every single thing in our life, what goes in will come out. And if you get junk in, you have to be diligent about purging it out. Now, some of you will know the phrase shadow work. I won't be talking about that today, but if you're interested, go ahead and give it a look. It's essentially the process of going within and really sweeping the corners of all of your mind and your subconscious, all the things, baggage, if you will. But again, we're not going to cover that in this video. But what we will focus on are creating better filters. So if we're able to filter out more up front, then we don't have to do the deep work of getting the junk out once it's in our systems, in our minds, our environments, or our bodies, okay? So our first area to look at, and I think this is one of the easiest areas to address and filter out anything bad, is our environment. Where do we work? Where do we play? Where do we sleep? Maybe it's our car. We spend a lot of time in the car. Your desk. Any place where you spend a lot of time. Cleaning and organizing these areas can bring a real sense of satisfaction and peace of mind. And it's a pretty low buy-in from what I've found. Always got to have my work desk organized. And it just means I have no excuses but to get my work done. Some things that can bring additional benefit in our environments are adding decorations, posters, artwork that resonates with you perhaps, or religious symbols. I'm a really big fan of incense. You get some Nag Champa or some frankincense and myrrh and a little oil burner. Whew, completely changes the mood and the environment from the ground up. Now, if you're looking to do some organizing, you want to kind of do some deep dives on that, I'm going to drop a link in the description for Marie Kondo. Might be saying that wrong. Doesn't matter. All respect to her. She's got some really good, I think she's got a book out. I've heard her videos. She addresses organizing and cleaning out and purging items and clothing, etc., in a much more well-articulated manner. So go check out that link if you're interested. And moving on to topic 2. Now, this is a doozy, but we're going to try to keep it lighthearted and fun, and that is our food and our water, okay? So we're talking about setting up filters. Our food and our water, this is a huge topic. Many people have devoted their lives to this topic, and you should probably listen to those people and go check them out. We're just covering the summaries, high-level stuff today in this video. But one link I'll drop in the description for food and health. And someone that really just resonates with me is Barbara O'Neill. And so I'll drop that link down in the description. Go check her out. She has gotten me personally to start eating Celtic salt a few times a day to make sure I got that potassium and magnesium so my cells aren't bloated. There's a whole thing about it. You just go check out her videos. But so our food and water kind of filters, these are mindsets, these are boundaries we're setting for ourselves, just as a reminder. So a starting point might be, if you've never looked into this, is just read the labels of everything that you buy. And an exercise would be read the labels for everything that you ingest for just one single day. Now write down every ingredient, especially the ones that you don't know, but I prefer for this exercise, write them all down because you may be surprised. And this is a really simple but transformative exercise. As there's a little bit of practice, you just sit yourself down and have the willpower to go through with it, and you will probably be shocked and might be disgusted, but I'm just letting you know that's where the rabbit hole is, right there. We're not going to do a deep dive, but I will give you a couple examples because I want you to be aware that some seemingly harmless titles have been given to things that really aren't good for us, all right? Such as citric acid. It's a really common one I just learned about. Disgusting. Corn sugar, corn syrup, and gum base. This one stings because I love gum, but I'm just not able to chew most gums nowadays. And honestly, I haven't spent the time to deep dive all natural gum substitutes, so just kind of don't. And then, not to mention the seed oils and things about seed oil that I want to address here is, and you want to take away kind of the strategy to approach things, not specific information that I'm giving you. And the strategy here, and the thing to understand is, seed oils come from seeds, and those are some of the most nutritious foods on the planet, obviously, birthplace of life. Same thing with eggs. But it's not always the base ingredient that's not good for you. So you may see seed oils and think, oh, that's just oil from a seed. But do your research, because a lot of times perfectly healthy beginning base ingredient is put through rather complex and chemical intense processing and treatments before it actually gets put into the food and used as an ingredient before it gets to you. So you just want to be aware, okay? And now, after you've gone through that exercise, you may come back to this video and be like, what do I even eat now? All right, I'll give you the Reader's Digest or the TLDR. The nerds are still out there listening to me. Organic local foods. Great place to start. Learning to eat seasonally. That way you're not shipping in foods internationally. Now I'll just briefly talk about this. Your food contains water, and water has a memory. So if your food comes from another country and then is in a box, handled by a person, put on a ship, shipped to a place, taken out of a box, handled by a person, put in another box, etc., 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 eventually you get it. It remembers the entire path. And if someone was in a bad mood or it was in a toxic environment, the finer energies in the water, in the food, will remember that. I'll just leave that there. I'm not going to go too much deeper on that. Maybe another day. Leave a comment. Let me know if you want me to talk about vital and subtle energies. It's a light topic, but very intricate, I will say. All right, so eat seasonally. We covered that. Non-GMO at all costs. You can believe what you want to believe, and I'll believe what I want to believe. But God created the food for a reason. He created the way he created it, and man trying to replace God is something that is all too common nowadays. I'm not for it, and if you don't have an opinion one way or the other, take my opinion. It's not going to hurt you, I promise. All right. One more item here. Humanely sourced dairy and meat products. Again, the more local, the better. The more humane, the better. But, do your research. There's so much information out there, and I certainly don't know it all. All right. But one kind of rule of thumb, if you will, is the longer time between the earth and your mouth, the less vital energy we'll have. And again, we can leave a comment if you want to see vital energy episode. It'll be really intricate, but we could do it. Also, a note. Say you bought organic local food. It is absolutely imperative nowadays, with all of the sprays and all of the external treatments and just what's in the air, what's in the water, it's essential to rinse all of your fruit and veggies, especially if you buy them at a big box store. I'll drop a link down below. I'm not sure which one it'll be. I'll go find something. Essentially, you can use vinegar mix with baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. I've seen people do that in mix. Essentially, you want to clean the outside of any fruit, especially if you're going to be ingesting the outside of the fruit. That's a whole nother topic. But moving on, now let's get to water. This one will be short and sweet because it could be long and bitter. But water is so important. Key ingredient. We're mostly water. I could go on for hours and hours about water, but essentially you want to get a filter that filters out all heavy metals, okay? Now I personally I purchased with my own money, so this is not an advertisement, though I would, send me an email, the water machine, and I'll drop a link. It's just called the water machine. Their filters are really good. I can taste that the water has gone through a unique process. There's also a drip element to it, and when a drop of water falls, it actually spins in and on itself and up through itself. It's vortex energy. It revitalizes each drop of water, but the filters are really good as well. And you'll see I'm doing an up and above because there's a 2-container system. Check out the link if you're interested. I personally love it, much better than Brita. You can take that to the bank. Don't know why I did that. All right, but last but not least, and this is a big one. And again, we could go on this topic, talk about it for a long time, but we're not going to. We're going to keep it relatively abbreviated, and that is our minds. Okay. Now, whether we like it or not, we consume a ton of information. We get media, ads, random content, social media, and again, it's garbage. And if it gets in, it will eventually come out. Now, if you're not diligent about purging, especially with the mind, all of the deep, dark nonsense that is out there, especially on mainstream some viewing sources and platforms nowadays, it's shocking what is on the television that a kid could just see. If you're not diligent about cleaning that out of your system, it will fester and it will go rank and it will come out as bad behavior, let's say. And so for the mind, personally, I found that the easiest way to get rid of the junk is to have a daily meditative practice. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean you're sitting in lotus posture. But when you meditate, whatever it's doing, you could be washing dishes and meditating, technically, for the nerds out there. And what I like to do is when I'm meditating, I just ask God for assistance in purifying my mind, body, and soul. It kind of gets everything in one. And again, when you're praying, you want to have confidence that you will receive and you shall. All right. Now, I just put out a video, Pray for Wisdom. I think it's an absolute banger. Go ahead and check that out after this one if you're interested in some ideas on how to pray. Because it took me a while to kind of understand what prayer was fundamentally. I had a lot of misconceptions in my mind. But again, we're talking about the mind. Prevention of the garbage in is the best policy, and we want to set up filters. One thing I personally have done is set a time for socials, all of it, including text messages. Because you never know what someone might text you, and you'll get trapped in the loop, and once you're in your phone, you're in the black void forever. That is the internet. But one thing I have recently done is I don't even turn my phone's internet on until after 10 a.m., which gives me time to wake up and get my meditation in, do my yoga stretches, etc. And then I'm like, I'm centered, I'm here, I'm me. Come at me, world. That kind of vibe. And then I also like to leave at least 20 minutes before bed. Now, I'm probably should be saying 2 or 3 hours before bed, no blue light from the screens, also not good for you. But realistically, 20 minutes is something I've been able to do. Spend an extra 20 minutes awake, even when I'm tired. just kind of meditating, doing a little nighttime prayer activity, kind of recentering again before you go into the dream world. Another way I've been kind of preventing the garbage in to my mind is I always have to have music on. I love it. There's got to be something on in the background. Need to be listening to something, but recently I found, I'm going through the awakening process as well, self-discovery and, softening of myself. And I found that I just can't listen to normal, quote unquote, like radio music. I've not been able to listen to the radio for a long time, but even songs that I used to enjoy, I just don't like it. I don't know. It's just not resonating with me. But so for me, I've kind of switched over to a lot of ragas or Ravi Shankar, the Indian sitar music. It's really peaceful, or Gregorian chants, or even just classical composers, your Mozarts, your Beethovens, your Bachs. And one key item with these are, Gregorian chant, there's an argument to be made, but essentially no lyrics is an easy rule to adopt. So instrumental music is a good way to know that you're not going to be getting some sort of weird subliminal messaging, etc., etc. And if you're not familiar, I'll go ahead and leave some links down in the description for Ravi Shankar and some Gregorian chants that I personally enjoy. They're free on YouTube, so easy to check out and see how you feel. And we're gonna go with one final note. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen, and that is this simple fact: staying aware, staying awake, staying present is the single most effective way to ensure that you don't invite in any negativity or any garbage into your mind or your body or your environment, okay? So this becomes challenging when we're tired or stressed, and we will lose our edge of discernment in those situations. So try to stay awake, people. Keep your heads up, on a swivel, do your research, and check out these links down below, and let me know in the comments, what did you think about this one? It's a little bit longer of an episode, tons of links for you to check out, but I wanted to make sure we touched all these bases. And a little thing I came up for: if you've seen ads, it's probably bads. All right, guys, I'll check you on the next one. Stay blessed.